Hello and welcome to BBCentral. Today I'm going to show you advanced team management. Note that this is a follow-up to basic team management tutorial. To see that video, click the link in the description. This tutorial will show you more advanced management, but for in-depth coverage on certain features, check out BBCentral's channel page and in-depth tutorials. If you want to be able to manage more aspects of your team and view various stats, click on your team name in the left menu. My team name shows up as the Skokie Ballers, so that's what my tab is called. Obviously, your team name will be different. This will bring you up to the team headquarters. On the right is the Team Links tab, where you can view and manage various parts of your team. This is a more advanced version of Manage My Team tab on the top here, which we covered in the previous basic management tutorial. With Manage My Team link, it has the bare minimum needed to manage your team. But if you want to make your team thrive, it is important to understand your team headquarters. The first link is Games. Here you can view your schedule of the season and the results of the completed games. If you missed a game, you can see the result here, as you can see. You can also view the box score by clicking the score, and even watch the match by clicking Match Replay. Over here is Match Replay, which will replay the events that happened in the match. Note that this doesn't mean that you are going to redo the outcome. The outcome is already set. This is just showing how the match went down. Also, if you click on this tab here, you can view previous seasons, all the way to the first season. Even if your team wasn't around in the first season, it actually was. It was just under a different name. So that's interesting. You can view the history. Now, as we're going to head back, the next tab is Standings. Clicking on this simply brings you to your league's page. As you can see, mine is League 4.19 in the USA. And this just brings you to your league's homepage with the standings on the top. This is a quick way to view your team and opponent's records. But if you want to know what all this other stuff is, there will be more on that in the team page. More on that on the team page in another tutorial. Next is Team Stats. Clicking on this is what its name suggests, and it shows detailed stats for all your players in the current season. And if you click on the top right tab, you can even view past seasons. Next is one of the most important, and that is the roster. Clicking on this brings up all your players, as well as how many players you have, and brings up all your players in your team by position. As you can see, point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center. You can even choose to sort it by various categories such as age, first name, last name, best position, jump shot, rating, jersey number, and such. Each player has a rectangle which lists personal information and their attributes. More on attributes will be discussed in another tutorial. Clicking on the player's name brings up more info, including more detailed stats and info, and any other noteworthy accomplishments or news. As an example, this player on my team is being recruited by the Chinese national team. This also has the interface that allows him to be put on the market over here as the transfer list. That will be brought up in another tutorial. Clicking on the player history box brings up tabs of more detailed stats and info. Note that the roster screen does not represent a depth chart or lineup. That can be found in the lineup screen, which will be covered in another tutorial and was touched upon in the basic management tutorial. After that is the Arena link. This is a very complicated link that brings you to the Arena management page. Here you can set prices, add more seats, rename your stadium, and more. This can be complicated and somewhat daunting, and so an in-depth tutorial will cover this. The Hall of Fame and press release tabs are for supporters only, so I will not be covering them. So next is the Transfers tabs. This can be a somewhat confusing tabs, and it shows your recent transactions on the player market. Let me get rid of this. I have not talked about the player market yet, so this may not mean much to you. If you want to know more about the player market, I will bring that up in another tutorial. Basically, it tells the player name and whether he was bought or sold, and the team he is from are being sent, and the date it occurred. It also shows the monetary gain or loss from this transaction. As you can see, it's here. The date, where he's going to or from, if he was bought or sold, and the player name. It also shows the money spent and gained from the player market. Here, the price. And also here. This is not your actual team's balance, it is simply the total amount of money used in the player market, so do not be alarmed if it is in the red. As example, I've spent more money on transfers than selling players, but I'm not worried because that does not reflect my actual funds. Lastly is the Send Messages tab. This is used for contacting other GMs or moderators. They can be from any league or country, not just yours. Here you can title the message under Subject, choose your recipient under the To tab, and below is a paragraph for writing messages. Messages cannot be over 1,000 characters long. Note that there are also word styling buttons, but these are only for supporters. To send a message from this screen, you'll have to know the manager's name by heart. A much easier way to do this is to go to a team page. As example, you can access it from clicking the next opponent you're playing, and click on the Send Message tab in their HQ, which is similar to yours. Keep in mind that also they have the same links available, and you can view their schedules, standings, team stats, rosters, and arena, and such. But for sending messages, you click on Send Message, and in the To/recipient column, the GM has already been labeled, so you don't have to worry about that. That is all for the Advanced Team Management tutorial. If you want more info on team management, check out the basic team management tutorial, and stay tuned for more specific tutorials on the way. This has been BuzzerBeater Central. Stay tuned and subscribe for all things BuzzerBeater.